morning, good afternoon, good evening. Third time's a charm. So this is a quick review on spice weapons. And it's mostly geared towards being a primer or review for folks who already have kind of an intermediate level of familiarization with BMS internal systems. This is not going to be kind of a grounds up introductory level for how to employ spice weapons. It is going to assume kind of at least a general familiarity. So let's go ahead and hop into it and see how spice weapons are a little bit different than the normal GPS weapons we might all be familiar with. Fortunately, the Benchmark Sims guys gave us a pretty good tutorial, and they gave us a huge whopping a guide for training. So in their tactical engagement menu, in their training subsection, there is a spice tutorial or training mission, and we're going to use that. So let's go ahead and commit into that and start looking at a couple of the differences in the 2D map of how you employ spice weapons versus how you employ like normal GPS weapons that you might be more familiar with. And it really comes down to just one thing. When you're in the recon menu and you're going through and you're saying, hey, I want to go ahead and attack specific targets, the big difference is this drop down, right? Normally what you would say is, okay, I got my flight plan, steer, I don't know, 1 through 7, right? And we don't want to use any of those steer points. Let's go to 90 through 99, something like that. Well, with spice weapons, we don't have to worry about that limitation because we're not going to be using steer points. We're going to be using weapon target points. So the number one difference here is dropping this submenu down and selecting weapon target points. All right, so let's go ahead and bring up the targets. In this training mission, we are assigned to target the EW radar and the control tower. So how do we do that? Well, number one, change steer points to weapon target points. And number two, do it the way you normally would. With just kind of the understanding that you don't have to worry about overwriting your flight plan because these are weapon target points. So normally we would go to maybe 99, 98, 97 and kind of work our way back. We don't have to worry about that. We can use 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to do exactly that. So we're going to put the EW radar, we're going to put that as target 1. Okay. And for the control tower, we're going to advance that to 2. Select control power, make sure we're on weapon targets. We're going to make that target 2. And then I'm going to add some more targets in there so we can have some fun. Let's go ahead with the fuel depot. Let's make sure, yeah, that seems like a good one, right? Hit the middle one, maybe you get some splash damage on the other ones, get a nice little environmental hazard problem there. So let's make that 3, target 3, and then maybe one more target. Let's see. Yep, kill the maintenance guys. Aircraft are incredibly maintenance intensive. You kill the maintenance guys. That's a soft kill on the squadron. So let's kill them. So target 4, accept. So if you're anything like me, you need to just verify that you did this correctly. You'll do your comms plan, you'll do your IFF plan, and then you'll come over to targets. And you'll see, hey, I don't have any steer point targets the way I would normally have. But I do have some weapon targets down here. So let's double check that all these seem reasonable. We knew we put the EWR radar on steer point 1 and look, on target 1. And look, it's sitting right there. And we knew target 2 is the control tower. And we knew there was a fuel depot. That's number 3. And number 4 was the maintenance shack. We have confirmed we have set this up properly. We're good to go. Let's get into 3D and take a look at a couple of the differences that happen in the jet.
Consent information whiskey.
All right, let's
altitude
recenter that.
Altitude.
Let's get that up.
Visual approach.
Let's get that up. Let's ditch the legs.
338
and
degrees.
Get the
13 knots. Gust
there
to
we go. All right, so we're going to be doing some
Visibility 10
autopilot
kilometers
work
or
here,
more.
where we have
Sky
him follow
conditions.
the our flight plan.
5,000 feet.
So to
Temperature,
do that,
20
we're going to have to go
degrees
to
Celsius.
our steer
Altimeter,
points. We're going to
298
have to
winters.
switch that from manual to auto. Now let's go ahead. Steer points, altitude hold. All right, he's going to center it up. So the first thing we need to do is probably not look at my Twitch screen. But aside from that, first thing we're going to need to do is, just like GPS weapons, we're going to power them up. So you can see we're in the nav master mode. Let's change that to the air to ground master mode. Boom. We're in the pre-designate or pre-select. And we're going to go over to our Spice 20s here. We're going to power them on. You're going to see very similar stuff to GPS. It's going to go through an initialization phase, and it's going to go through an alignment where it starts counting down to align 0. A couple other things to notice. I got Spice 2,000 pound grade weapons on stations 3 and 7, and that's going to become relevant later on. So as this is working its way up, the big difference with Spice Bombs is there is no target of opportunity mode, right? If I was using a GPS button, a GPS weapon, I could go into my targeting pod. I could switch it to Black Hat because that's the way we like to do it. I could find a target, make a steer point, and attack, either using the SPI or an actual steer point with no offsets. You cannot do that in Spice weapons. You gain an additional standoff capability, but you lose the ability to kind of on the fly attack targets of opportunity. So in order to set this weapon up, we have to use the targets we identified in the 2D system. So how do you do that? Well, you go to your list page and you look for Spice, and you will not find Spice on any of these. Let's zoom that in just a tad. So what you're going to have to do is go to the second list page, or the miscellaneous page, by hitting 0. We'll hit 0. And then we see this beautiful Spice menu here. So in order to get in the Spice menu, we hit enter. All right, and what's going to happen is it says, hey, Buttons, you got 2 weapons. Which attack point, right, which target point do you want for each weapon? And the way you manipulate this is you go up and down, using your up and down dauber. Okay, and then you use your upfront controller here to type in the weapon point that you want. It does require a little bit of planning, right? You have to remember that for us, steer 1 was the EW radar, steer 2 is the control tower, but the system helps you out there. Let me show you. So if I had forgotten, I know I got four weapon points, 1 through 4, but if I forgot what they actually are, the system will tell you. So what was, I'm going to type in 1 here to say go attack weapon point 1. And if I go over to my SMS page, it's going to say, hey, target ID 1 was the Anjin Air Base radar, EW and SSR. Like, man, that's awesome. So we know that for Station 3, it is targeted on target 1, which is this target. Well, what if I didn't want that target? What if I wanted the fuel depot? That's easy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. What we'll do is we'll go, we'll actually just leave it on the first weapon, and we'll just change the target. Let's go after that fuel dump. All right. Oopsie. So let's go back to list. Let's go back to 0. Let's go back to Spice in the enter menu. And let's go to, nope. Oopie doodles. I did it again. And miscellaneous. And Spice. And let's go into 3. There we go. And enter. Boom. And now it's changed it from the EW radar to the fuel depot. Well, let's change it again, because our goal here wasn't to hit the fuel depot. It was to hit the control tower, and it was to hit the EWR radar. So let's go and hit 2. That should be the control tower. Double check that. Yep. So we've been kind of poking around, just rechanging all the targets on this weapon. How do we do the other one? Easy peasy. Missile step, if you have that set up, or you come over here to OSB 10 and shift it over. Now we do have to change weapons. So this weapon was on Station 3. This bottom weapon is going to be on Station 4. How do we do that? Just dauber down. So we know we have Station 3 attacking target 2. We've got Station 7 attacking target 1. How do we double check this? We know we got to kill target 1, the EWR. Looks like it's set up properly. We know we got to kill the control tower. That also looks like it's set up properly. And if we take another look, we've gone through our initialization and our alignment, and we are ready to drop. So let's be ready to drop. We are. Master arm on. Let's double check CMS is set up. Let's get the lights off. Fuel, radios. Wow. Okay. Well, stop being a buttons, but this looks pretty good. I'm going to back out of this DED menu here. We don't need that anymore. We're going to go over to the HSD. We're coming up on our IP. So I'm going to take us off the automatic pilot. Actually, we'll just do, we'll do attitude hold, but we won't do any kind of roll hold here. Got good speed, and so we're going to start our turn in. The other thing I want to mention is in the training manual, it mentions that for every 1,000 feet above ground level, you get 1 extra nautical mile of range on the spice weapon. So we kind of look at the HUD here. We're at 22,500, roughly 22.5 miles of standoff range, which is pretty good. But that also means speed doesn't seem to be as relevant as, say, it would be in like an air-to-air engagement where you're trying to get a lot of energy. It just doesn't appear to be. So we look at our dynamic launch zone here, or DLZ. We already see we're in range. Awesome. Let's pop these puppies off. One last check. Anjin Air Base Control Tower, BWR. So here we go. We're set up. Left wing's going to probably go up because the right wing's going to be heavy when we drop this weapon. So let's pickle down. And good. Automatically goes over to Station 7. Pickle down. And now we're empty. Now we're empty. Let's go ahead. We're Cat 1 and start our turnout.